Annelise Nielsen is our US correspondent, and she has been filing the most amazing stories from the border between the United States and Mexico. Her packages you can see during the day, they're up at skynews.com.au, and she joins us now from the United States. Annelise, honestly, congratulations on this reporting, because it is very even-handed about a crisis that, well, nobody can pretend isn't a crisis, because it involves human beings, it becomes an emotional one. But it's amazing what you were able to work out in a couple of weeks. It's a picture that just has not been filled out by many of the people in charge here. Looking back at your time on the border, did your view change, and what is the obvious solution if there is one?
No, there's no obvious solution, and that's really the hard thing for the people living there. One of the reasons we wanted to go down there, because I know a lot of the commentary around it was, well, this was a big story 2 months ago, but everyone's moved on, is that no, this isn't really moving on. This is continuing to be at crisis levels, and that's been the discussion here in Washington, was you can't even call it a crisis, but you've got 170,000 people have crossed over in March, the same in April, and that's a 20-year high. What's different this time too is you've seen a lot of the pictures are around people at the border rushing over the Rio Grande River. The immigrants coming from Central America, they're the ones coming to claim asylum, and they'll run towards border officials. It's the ones going further north that are trying to escape capture that are the more criminal elements, but they have genuine asylum seekers as well with them that they'll often use as cover. So this is just an extraordinary problem for those on the ground dealing with it. And that's the story we wanted to tell, because everything is kind of so hyper-politicized at the moment that it's either illegal immigrants are ruining everything and just criminals, or it's not a crisis and everything's under control and it's fine. And of course, reality sits somewhere in the middle. And that's what we found when we were there. No one was saying it wasn't a crisis, and no one was saying that they didn't have a lot of sympathy for these people either and wanted to help them as well. But whatever is happening now isn't working. And so that's what we really wanted to get the sense of when we were there.
Now, I mean, the access that you have is unbelievable. Literally, you've got this from all sides, right? You've talked to the enforcement people, you've talked to the human beings involved, you've even seen things from the Mexican side of things. And can I just ask about that Mexican side of things? I won't ask how your mum reacted when she found out that you were in that part of the world, but I can guess what it might have been. But tell me about what is the Mexican side of the border like in contact? Does it seem obviously like there's a huge group of people that are starting to back up? Is it cartel territory? The bit that you saw, tell me about it.
It is very much cartel territory. That town Reynosa we went to, obviously it's hard to get accurate data around crime in Mexico, and so this was listed as one of the more dangerous cities, but you always have to kind of take that in context. But what we found was that people wanted to talk. They're sitting there and they're desperate. And that plaza is a community. They all know each other. Even the time we were there, we couldn't spend that long there, but we got a sense that there was a hierarchy, that some people took responsibility for things like food and taking care of kids. There was a whole shower system we didn't show for obvious reasons, but they all coordinate that together to fairly distribute water. But they're also really scared. People and kids disappear overnight, and they have this really uncertain future. And so it's a challenge. We met that woman you saw who was a Texas housewife who just crosses over every day, taking different individual donations to try and get kids out of there into school. And she was quite hesitant because they'd had a really bad time with the media. And so when you talk about that access, one of the best things we have is we can just say, like, I'm Australian, I don't have a dog in this race. I just really want to know what the story is. And when you don't have an agenda, people will just be really honest with you. And that's been the absolute advantage we had.
Yeah, well, honestly, it's excellent reporting. Congratulations on it. Massive credit to, well, you keep racking them up, mate. You're an absolute rock star, and we love you here at the channel. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, mate. Enjoy a beautiful spring day in Washington, mate.
Thank you.
There she is, Annelise Nielsen in the United States.